Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey. I am so excited to be here and to be showing you guys something that I'm passionate about. As you can see, the film quality probably looks a little bit better, and that is because I got a new camera, so please be prepared for a whole bunch of new videos for my channel. Today's look is going to be a sultry drugstore affordable look that's super easy to do. It's a halo smoky eye with a colored and dramatic, bold, whatever you want to call it, highlighter. I'm so excited. I'm using some new products that I'm actually using highlighters that have just been released. These are the NYX Duochrome highlighters. This isn't the one that I used. Let me find the one that I used. This is the one that I used, but these are the two that I got, and I'm so excited about these. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me, if you want to be BFFs and hang around all the time. So please keep on watching. And the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure everything is sanitized. You want to make sure your hands are clean. I cannot stress this enough. If you struggle with acne and you do your makeup and you don't wash your hands before, that can be a really big problem, because you go and touch a slice of pizza, you go hold hands with Boo, and that all has bacteria on it, and then all those little scary bacteria germs get on your skin, and then your skin's like, no thank you, and then you get pimples, and I don't want that for you. So before you do your makeup, make sure you wash your hands. If for some strange reason you don't have running water and it's thundering outside and you don't have running water, but you want your face to look beat, that's okay. Grab some hand sanitizer, grab some hand sanitizer, grab some rubbing alcohol. I personally like to wash my hands, and because I'm a little bit of a germ freak, I also like to have rubbing alcohol. This is just an empty perfume bottle that I got from Walmart, and this is just straight up rubbing alcohol. I will spray this on my hands, I spray this on my brushes, I spray it on my makeup table, just to make sure that everything is a germ-free zone. Okay, now that we have that covered, you want to make sure you got a damp beauty blender on hand, and that's it. That's really, you're going to need makeup obviously, but that's really the only prep you have to do. This is going to be an affordable drugstore, smoky, kind of sultry look, but not too hardcore smoky or sultry. The only thing that isn't drugstore is lashes, and it's just because I love these lashes so much. I've used the Nubinson Russian Black lashes, and let me tell you, they're so pretty. I love these lashes so much. They're $25. I'll make sure I post a link to these down below so you can go maybe purchase them, and then we can be BFFs, like lashes edition. So now that you have your hands clean and now that's all done, your beauty blender's wet, we can get started. So I've already moisturized my face. I just used my Cetaphil Daily Moisturizer. And then I'm going to be going in with my Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of that on my hands. Once I'm running out of this. I've had this for so long. It literally lasts me so long. So you're really not going to want to use a lot. You just want to use a little bit. And then I'm just going to start to smear that on my face like I'm smearing icing on a cake. And then you're going to want to tap that in. The reason why you want to tap your primer in is because your skin is 7 different layers, and just by smearing it on your face, you're only getting it on the very first layer. If you truly want to have a matte face, or you want to have, if you have dry skin and you want to have like a glowy kind of moist, that's not the word, looking face, you want to pat that primer in. For me, I have oily skin, and oil just isn't created in the first layer of skin. So you really want to get in there, make sure you pat it in, make sure you get it in your pores, make sure that's all set and ready. I gotta throw my hair up. That is something that I forgot to do. Just gonna throw it up real quick. I don't care if I look cute. Oh yeah, that's a cute look. Okay. Next, you want to grab your color corrector if you have acne on your skin, if you have redness. I love this thing. I personally feel like it was a little bit expensive. It was like $6, $7. I know LA Girl has the same thing for like $2, but I haven't tried that out, so I don't know how good it is. But this is the Maybelline Cover Stick Corrector Concealer, and it's green. Color correcting, you fight red with green. So I just like to go on and literally almost cover my entire face with this. Next, you want to go in, grab that lovely beauty blender, and just make sure you blend all that out. And that's it, that's the look. I'm just kidding. Okay, so once you're done color correcting, you're going to put that beauty blender down. You're going to want to grab your powder brush and your setting powder. What? Why? Because when you color correct and then put foundation on top, you're kind of just smearing two colors together and you're not allowing that concealer to do its job. You're really just smearing the color corrector and the foundation together, and you're not going to get that full hardcore coverage that you want. You want to set and put a powder barrier between the color corrector and your foundation so it'll do its job. You don't want to mix it. It doesn't do its job. It doesn't do a good coverage job. If that makes sense, I am babbling. So you're really just going to want to make sure you set that. I keep getting hair in my face and it's not the cutest look. And then what I like to do is my beauty blender, you know, it has water in it, so it's going to thin down the color corrector. I like to go in for a second round and get the stuff that really didn't get covered all the way. And then I'm going to grab the beauty blender again and do the same thing. And then again, you're going to want to set it. Oh, by the way, I am using my Referal Stay Matte Long Lasting Powder. As you can see, I've used this so much that the title of it has rubbed off, but I do know that this is in shade Creamy Natural. Okay, so now that you have done your color correcting, I then like to go in and do my concealer. I know, it's kind of weird. Why do I like to do my concealer before I do my foundation? Because I personally hate the look of having that bright look underneath your eyes. It really doesn't look natural, in my personal opinion. And I can work on correcting my creasing before I even put on foundation. And today I'm using the Concealer RX Vicious and Strength Concealer. Again, I like to look more natural. I don't like doing all of that. I just like to do underneath my eyes to fight against the dark circles. So I'm just going to use my beauty blender and start blending that out. If you have a round face, like I do, when you are putting your concealer on, you do not want to drag it out this way because that makes your face look wider. If you have a round face, you want to drag it down to help make your face look longer. And I also like to bring that on top of my eyelids just to act as a primer, because I have super oily eyelids. Okay, I'm going to put the beauty blender down. I'm going to grab my favorite foundation right now. Seriously, I did a video a little while ago doing a full coverage tutorial, and I had to mix two foundations just to get like a decent amount of coverage. The other day I picked up the Referal Stay Matte Foundation, and let me tell you, if you have a second and an extra $3-4, go pick this up. This is seriously, like, the coverage is so freaking insane, and it's like the cheapest foundation I've ever tried before. You can either, if you want hardcore, super hardcore coverage, you can use a foundation brush and just paint that on and then blend it out with a beauty blender. I want full coverage, but I don't want to look too full coverage, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to put some of that on top of my beauty blender. I let my little sister borrow this and now I like have nothing left. And I'm just gonna tap that into my skin. Make sure you blend it down your neck. I seriously look like a unicorn with this little dot on my head. I like to bring up my foundation on top of my concealer because I still have that brightening effect. Oh, and I just got my foundation in my hair. I still have the brightening effect and my dark circles still get covered, but again, it looks more natural. It gives me that like awake look without looking like, oh yeah, she obviously is wearing makeup. But again, you know, if you want to have those bright circles, you do you, boo. I'm not putting anything down. I'm just saying my personal preferences. I feel like the beauty blender is set to work out. Like you're just sitting there and I really should have like a huge bicep by the time I'm done. Okay, I'm putting the beauty blender down and this is the look. I hope you like it. I'm going to be grabbing my powder brush again and the same setting powder that I used, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of color. I know it looks super, super pale right now, but again, once it oxidizes, it really does darken a little bit in color. Okay, I'm going to put that down. And I'm going to be grabbing my bronzer today and every day. I use the Wet n Wild Color Icon in Bikini Contest. Look, there's so much in here. And this shiny thing is because I accidentally got water on it and this bronzer didn't like water. I'm going to be grabbing a contour brush, and if you want to know where you can get these brushes, I will link a link to that down below. I own my own vegan and cruelty-free cosmetics shop, and these brushes are vegan and cruelty-free, so I will make sure that I leave a link to that down below in case you want to go ahead and purchase them. So you really want to be careful with this bronzer. It seriously has so much pigment. You don't want to sit there and do that unless you want to look orange. You can seriously just tap it in and call in the day. When I am putting on my bronzer, again, I don't like to smear, I like to tap. That way the product gets in my skin and just isn't just resting on the first layer of skin. That way it stays on longer and it helps it to blend better and look more natural. And when I'm doing my bronzer, I like to bring it up into my hairline so I don't have an obvious white line where I missed covering my skull. Okay, now again, I'm really just going to tap and do my cheekbones. I'm building the color because I don't want to look like have an uneven side where like this side's darker and this side doesn't look like I have anything on. I want my coverage to be even, so I'm just building. Okay, I'm gonna put that down, and here's something fun. I'm picking up a nail art highlight brush. What? Nail art? Yes, I said nail art. Look how small this brush is. Like, here. This is a regular for your face highlight brush. This is a nail art highlight brush. I like to use the nail art brushes to contour my nose. They're so small, they're easy to control, they're easy to work with, they're delicate, and they have like a feathery kind of feel to them, but they're just stiff enough. So I'm gonna dip in there and just begin to contour my nose. Okay, that is done. I'm going to be putting away the bronzer and picking up my eyebrow pencil. Like 3 months ago, I got too happy with my tweezers and I completely ruined my eyebrows. I have left them alone, I haven't touched them, and they're finally back. I finally have my brows back, I finally have a tail. So right now I'm just going to be using a spoolie and making sure that my brushes are nice and groomed. I don't like that Instagram brow, you know, the brow where it's like, oh yeah, like obviously I'm wearing some kind of makeup. I like a more natural brow. I love looking full glam, but I like to look full glam to the point where I also look natural, if that makes any sense. So today I'm going to be picking up and using my L'Oreal brow stylist sculptor, and this is in the color brunette. I like this pencil because it has a nice shade, but I also like it because it comes with its own like little brush and then a highlighting tip on the other end. I really hardly ever use the highlight tip, and I feel like for $8 this pencil was expensive. I do want to explore other options, but right now it is definitely doing the job. I never do my brows perfectly because my brows are meant to be sisters and not twins. I then like to go back in with my spoolie and just make sure everything is blended together and I don't have any harsh lines. After I do that, I'm just going to go in and grab my white eyeliner. This is from Wet n Wild, and I like to go in and really just do the front part of my brow, just to make sure I don't have any funky lines or bleeding. And I'm just going to take my finger and make sure I blend that all out. You can also use a smudge brush instead of your finger. But again, if you have clean fingers, it's okay to touch your face. I made a little whoopsies and I'm going to go in and fix that. I accidentally brought up the white too far into my brow. now that that is done, I'm not going to go in and cut out my brows because I'm not a huge fan of that effect. But this is what your face should look like so far, unless you have blonde hair. Then your brows are going to be lighter, maybe. I am not baking my face because I don't want to. So I'm not. Just kidding. You should always bake your face. I'm going to be grabbing my baby powder. And I'm just going to be baking. I'm so afraid because I'm wearing a black shirt. R.I.P. Grabbing your beauty blender. I like to use baby powder. And just give myself a clean line to work with. I seriously have a whole thing of like baby powder in this Tupperware container. Okay, I didn't get too much on me. I'm happy about that. I'm not baking my under eye area because the concealer I have doesn't oxidize for like hours. Like I will literally wear this for like 12 hours and like I'll take it off and it's still like good. So I don't feel the need to bake my face unless I use a different concealer, but that is a concealer that I use all the time, so I don't really ever not use it. Then I'm using a new palette that I got. This is the Makeup Revolution Chocolate Vice palette. I also got the Death by Chocolate palette. They have a whole bunch of other palettes out that I want to try. I love Makeup Revolution so, so much. So I'm going to be grabbing my Wet n Wild blending brush. And I swear this thing has like it has a clear name labeler. So I'm going to try and read the names off, but I'm not promising I'm going to do a great job. So I'm going to be using Sway, which is this shade right here, and just setting that eye area all the way up to the brow. Again, tapping it and not smearing. And I bet this beard, the white beard I got going, is pretty cute, isn't it? Next, I'm going to be going in, sorry, I just hit that table. I'm going to be going in with Treat, which is this brown color right here. And I'm seriously just going to slightly tap it a little bit. And then I like to knock off some of the excess powder because okay, the only downfall with the Makeup Revolution palette is some of the darker colors have a little bit of fallout, but not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. And again, you're just going to want to tap that brown shade in. Yes, I'm not using a transition color. No transition color today. I'm gonna, as you can see, it's not even. I'm leaving it messy because I'm going to go back in and use the Wet n Wild brush that I just used, and I'm just going to blend it out to kind of give myself that smoky effect on the outer corner of my eye. Okay, now that that is all blended out, I'm going to move my leg. You're going to want to go back in with that and tap a little bit of the black, which is called Lust, and putting that just on that outer, the very, very outer part of the corner. Then you're going to do the same thing on the inner part of the eye. And I know it looks like I'm dragging the color down, but I'm tapping it in. Okay, now that the halo part is done, I'm going to go in and just grab this tan color, which is called Convert, and blend the top part of the halo eye out with my Wet n Wild brush. If you want to darken this look up, you are totally welcome to. Before I get into the glitter shades, I'm going to brush off my white beard with a powder brush. Okay. Now I'm going to be finding a packing brush in my bowl. I'm going to be grabbing a packing brush. You can wet it if you want. I would not, if you're using the Makeup Revolution palette, I would not suggest wetting your brush. I just feel like the pigments pick up so much better without a brush that's wet. I'm going to be grabbing Fancy, which is this gorgeous pink shade right here, and just dipping my brush in that. And tapping and patting that on top of the lid. Once that is done, I'm just going to be taking that Wet n Wild brush again and just blending out the top part so I don't have any harsh lines. Okay, I'm going to be grabbing my Coastal Scents BRC SO8 brush. I love this brush for using it for the lower part of my eye. I'm going to be grabbing just this tan and then this light brown color together and blending that all underneath the bottom part of my eye. I have such a bad memory. I have such a bad memory. now you're going to want to grab a black eyeliner. I am going to be using my Kajal Vasanti Kajal Waterline. This is my favorite eyeliner. I got it in an Ipsy bag, one of my first Ipsy bags, and it's so amazing. And you're going to want to tightline your waterline. And you're going to want to do the bottom part of your waterline as well. I'm putting that down, and I am grabbing a smudger brush, and I'm smudging out the bottom part of my waterline. Now that I have the bottom part of the waterline done, I'm going to move up and do the top again. I like to make sure that the smokiness matches my bottom and top waterline, and personally I find it a lot easier to control my bottom waterline and make sure that everything is well blended together before I go in and do the top. So I'm just going to be grabbing the smudger brush and just going in with the excess and lining the outer part of my lid. If you do happen to run out, you can just sit here and smear some extra on your brush using your eyeliner. And we are almost done. Since this is a cheaper palette, I feel like the glitter, once it is first applied, it is super sparkly, it's super like in your face, but after it settles for a little bit and it gets into your skin, it's not as in your face as I want it to be. So after I'm done that part of the eye look, I'm just gonna go back in again, grab my packing brush and just go back in and apply a second layer. I've also noticed the same problem with my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Now that that's done, you can go ahead and put whatever color in the inner corner that you want. I love putting gold in my inner corner. So I'm just going to be grabbing a different packing brush. Let me find one. And I'm going to be using Persuade, which is this gold color right here. Okay, now you're going to want to apply mascara. I am using my Maybelline Last Sensational, which looks like this. And it's going to give my lashes a quick treatment of mascara. I have no idea what's going on with my hair today. It's like all over my face. It like wants to be in the action shots here. Seriously, I like dropped my brush and I just got some like right underneath my eye. Oh my god. That's okay, that's why God made concealer. That just happened. I'm gonna wait for that to dry, and real quick I'm gonna put my lashes on off camera. So I have just finished applying my lashes. Again, I used the newest Russian black lashes. These are $25, but they have lasted me a long time. They're so dramatic. I did go ahead and I applied just a little more of that gold color in my inner corner because I wanted it to still be boom gold. That's what I wanted. Okay, so the last things that we have to do are apply our highlighter and then apply a lip color. Of course, we're going to be doing highlighter first. I'm going to be using two different highlighters. I'm going to be using, let me find it. Oh, there it is. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearl on my nose in order to make it glow, because you don't want to use a colored highlighter on your nose because that's a mess. That's a mess. And then I'm going to be using my new NYX Duochrome Illuminating Powder in Synthetica. Oh, this highlighter. So first, of course, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. highlighter and just getting my nose all nice and snatched. I have some bad news. Okay, that is my nose. Next, I was getting ready to grab my powder. That's not how we highlight. I'm going to be using the same brush and using this highlighter. I also have a purple one, which is equally as gorgeous. This is a lavender steel, and again, this is Synthetica. I love both of these. If you want to see what this looks like, I have a picture on my Instagram, and I'll make sure I leave a link to that down below so you can go check out the color. But today I'm going to be using this. This is one of those highlighters that you don't need a whole lot to get that effect that you were looking for, you know, to look like a glowing goddess. So I personally like to use my e.l.f. highlighting brush. This is a packing highlighting brush. I just like to carefully dip it in and go in. The reason why I didn't apply blush is because this highlighter is red. Well, it's like a pink orange. It's a duochrome highlighter, so that is going to give you, it's going to make you look like you have blush on because of that pink color. Wa-boom, 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 wa-boom. Ooh, now I know it's kind of weird looking that seeing that much color up on your cheekbones. So that's why I like to go back in with my bronzing brush and kind of just blend that out a little bit. But I personally, I love the look of a colored highlighter. I love just seeing that. I love how it looks so bold and dramatic and different. That's why I did bring it down a little bit on my cheeks. If you want, you can blend it out. You could just take a powder brush and boom, 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 and you're done. The last thing I'm going to be doing is applying my lip color. I'm going to be using my... what lip color do I want to use today? I think I'm just going to go in with a really simple color since I have so much going on with my lashes and then with the highlighter. I'm going to be using NYX's Pumpkin Pie. This is my favorite lipstick. And I'm leaving the foundation on my lips because the foundation acts as a sort of primer. And that is all it. You can apply setting spray. I'm not going to apply setting spray. So that is it.